All right, so welcome to the fourth video in this guitar build series. I'm breaking this one down into two parts. It's the neck build, and the first video, the actual full video, was excessively long, like 40 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is break these into two separate videos, parts A and B. And in the first one, I'm gonna go ahead and install the frets, clean out the fret slots and do all of that. And then in the second part of this, I'll drill out the tuner holes, install the threaded inserts, and do some other cool stuff. There's a body repair in there. So first part, doing the frets, the majority of the fret work, minus the leveling, crowning, and polishing. I'll do that just as a quick part of a future video, but this is the fret installation one, and I hope you enjoy it. So in the last video, we rough cut the neck, got the fretboard glued on there, installed fretboard inlays, that kind of thing. This video, I'm gonna install the frets, and I'm gonna first clean them up with my fret saw and make sure that they're all the exact same depth, that the frets seat properly, there's no wobble or gaps or anything like that. So we're gonna start out by cutting down the fret slots, my little fret gauge here, to determine the depth, make sure that everything's perfect in each one of the slots, and then there's no guesswork when it comes time to actually install the frets. So here you can see, I don't know if the camera's catching it, but there's a little bit of space that I need to go down a little bit. So I have tape on the saw to make sure that I don't go too deep. It's just sort of a guide. I'm going to want to check each, the whole width of the fret slot, each fret slot, to make sure that I've got continuity and a uniform cut all the way down, full depth. Let's just go ahead and run through this here. All right, so with all of the fret slots cut to the perfect depth, we've got consistency across all of them. What I'm going to do now is take a little triangular jeweler's file, and I'm going to bevel the edges of each one of the fret slots at about a 45-degree angle. These are stainless steel frets. Chances of them wearing out are remote in the extreme. But if anybody were to ever want to refret this fretboard, without this little bevel that I'm going to put in there, 45-degree angle there, if they were to remove the frets, it risks tear out around the slots where the grain comes up. So by putting a little slight 45-degree angle bevel across every fret slot, they seat easier, kind of like a little countersink or almost a guide, a pilot hole. They'll seat easier, they'll sit flush, and if anybody were ever to remove them, it won't rip the fretboard apart in doing so. So I'm doing a future luthier a favor here, as well as myself, so that they all seat nicely. Now, here's an interesting thing I'm going to come back to. Remember I broke that bit off. I had earlier done some cutting to cut around it, and I was going to just trim the fret tang off. But as I was running the saw over it without wrecking the saw blade, of course, I noticed that it's somewhat loose. So here I am taking a couple little files. I'm going to be very careful not to widen the fret slot. I'm going to botch it a little bit. So in all transparency, I'm showing you how I attempted again to fix this thing. I'm just kind of digging at it a little bit, moving it back and forth, just wiggling it ever so slightly. I mean, a fraction of a millimeter. And there it is. I think I got it coming up here. Let's see what happens. I have a dental pick, razor blade, various tools. You do what you got to do to get in there and just kind of wiggle it back and forth and see if you can loosen it up. And there I got it. You'll see it. There it is. Now, if I recall right, little bugger, that's only a piece of it. There still was a small piece left in there. But what I've got here is this hole, a little bit of a gouge mark that I need to go ahead and fill in. And I'm going to do that now before proceeding because I want these fret slots to all be consistent. Maybe I did get the whole thing. I'm watching this video along with you as I'm talking over it. But let's do a quick fill on this thing with some of that rosewood dust, ebony dust in this case, that I save. And this is exactly why I save that stuff. And this isn't terribly exciting. It's just you'll see how little it takes. I'll go ahead and put it on there. I'll work it in with a dental pick, toothpick, razor blade, whatever, just to make sure that it's packed in there really good. That's what you want to do from the very bottom. If you have to do it in layers, that's fine. I pack it down as far as I can go, and then I touch it with a little bit of CA glue. That'll bond it up. It cures almost instantly. I don't use accelerator. I don't like it. It turns the surface white, and in some cases, I've found it to be a little bit less strong once it's cured. So I'll just let time do its thing. But for some reason, in sawdust, it takes up really really easily. So I am filling a little bit of the fret slot. It's okay. I'm trying to get the hole mostly, and then you'll see once it's filled and CA glued. I'm going to speed this up a bit so it doesn't get too boring. I'll go ahead and recut the fret slot with my little .023-inch kerf um, fret saw. So you'll see me mark this thing right here. This is 12th fret. There is a little tiny piece left in there, and I'm marking it here. You'll see what I do with it later when I start installing the frets. But there it is. I couldn't get the gauge all the way through, so I'm going to go ahead and mark the fret itself right where this is. I don't know if I do it later. Nope, I'm going on to the fret press here. So what's going on here is. I got this, I think, from Amazon. It's a 1-ton press. It works wonderfully. It might be a 2-ton, I don't remember. And a little bit of modifications to it. I might do a separate video on that, but I've got this little cradle here that's about a 7.5 degree inch radius. I'm not going to use that for this because I did not already shape the neck. I like to keep the neck flat like this, unshaped, and that way I don't need that little thing, that little cradle, I guess, call it or whatever. So it'll just sit flat on the fret press, and I'll have nice, even, consistent pressure the whole time, and I don't have to wobble or fiddle around with that extra piece. I'll do it in another video, you'll see, because it does work. It works fairly well, but this is much, much better. Now, this little press, I forget the name of it. I'll stick the words on the screen if I can recall it, but there's different little heads that you could have put in there depending on the radius of your fretboard. Since this is a 14-inch radius, I have I believe it's 14 to 16 inch um, little head in there. I got a 7.5 and a 10, 12. I think that one's a 12. Yeah. No, that's 7.25, 7.5. Whatever. I'm just showing how these little things go in there and the radius because you want it to be even, consistent pressure across the entire fret through the full press down so you don't get, you know, high spots or crush the wood, which I've done before. I've seated the frets too deep and actually crushed the wood. So I'm going to stop talking about it now, get to work. I do want to mention that I've got these pre-cut stainless steel frets. They're awesome. And instead of going down the middle like this and cutting both sides, I'm going to take advantage of that tang that they've cut for me. And I'm just going to stick them all along one side so I only have to clip each fret once. It's a lot easier on my tools. And it's just, I get to take advantage of that nice little tang that they have in there for me. So let's blast through this thing. You'll get the idea after a couple of frets. I just set them in there by hand, and then, do maybe 4 or 5 or 8 or whatever at a time, and then press, press, press. And here's where I want to mention this is that darn drill bit fragment that's in there. So I'm going to go ahead and lay the fret down on it, mark it, take a rotary tool and trim a little bit off of it flush with the bottom of the fret, trim the tang out, and then it'll be like a little bridge that forms over this thing. It won't affect tone or sustain or any of that stuff. Here's my flush cutting pliers. Again, Amazon. I just ground the face off on my belt sander, and it works really good. I mean, these are stainless steel frets, and it does a pretty good job chopping right through them. I do have to resharpen them every now and then, but not very often, every couple of builds. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, show you, shut up. Now I'm just knocking down some of I'm taping up the board so I don't gouge it at all. I'm just knocking down some of the really high or um, sharp parts that are sticking out. I'm going to go ahead and do a full file on the edge of the frets. And I'll show you the tool that I use for that. First, a 90 degree to get them flush, the frets flush with the board. And then I think it's a 30 something degree, not quite 45-degree angle, just to get them a little head start on the round over that I'm going to do a little bit later. But right now, I'm just hitting the really big ones so I don't bang my file into them as as it's moving across the fretboard. And here's the tool. It's a fret filing block. It's polymer, so it won't damage the frets or scratch anything up. Got a 90 degree right here, and this one here, that's like a 30, I don't know, 33 something or other degree angle, maybe a 45. Really don't remember to be honest, but I'll run it along the edges first at the 90 degree to knock down the frets flush with the fretboard, and then I'll put a little taper bevel on them before I start doing rounding off each fret, and we'll go over that as well. All right, so next up is the side dot inlays. I'm just using 5/64 inch side dot inlay material. It's like a polymer plastic type material. I'm gonna go white to contrast nicely with the ebony 5/64 inch drill bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and just pop the holes in there, and I'm gonna use some CA glue, clip them off. Nothing really particularly special here. I just do this by hand and I just eyeball it. Really, I've measured and I've done it with drill press. It's all kind of the same. This is very simple part of the process. And there it is, sanded flat, uh, side dot inlays. Nothing really to say. I'm gonna go ahead and fill in some of these fret slot gaps. Again, just taking the um, ebony dust and filling them in with a pick and then a little CA glue. It's a little bumpy and nasty, so I'm gonna go ahead and sand all that down and make it like new again. This is a little piece of granite that I got perfectly flat, double-sided taped, a piece of, I think it's 180 grit, just enough to knock down all the little bumps of CA glue and ebony sawdust. And now I'm just going to round off the sharp edges on these frets. I'm not doing a final fret dressing at all yet because I still have to level the fretboard and crown the frets, polish all of that. But these are sharp, even though they're flush with the fretboard from the filing that I did earlier. I've got this little file. I've got the StewMac version, but these Amazon files work fantastic. You just have to grind the teeth off of the short edge, the bottom, and I do the top as well. Um, Grind them down with another file or sandpaper, and that way you don't gouge up your fretboard. But I'm just going through here, and it's a very tedious process, but it's sort of an initial run at it, and I'll do a lot cleaner version later. But this does help later on, and it's something I like to do. It's worth it to me to take the extra time and do one pass on each side of each fret now. Okay, that's the end of the first part of this two-part video, building the neck. I hope you enjoyed it. The next one coming up is actually even better. It's got some more exciting stuff, and we actually shaped the neck in the second video. I don't want to reveal too much just yet because you'll see the process there. Threaded inserts, there's a body repair, and a couple of other things. So hope to see you on that one. Should be linked right over here.